Wow. Now, today marks World Radio Day and is being celebrated under the theme Radio and Peace. The day seeks to honor the unique ability of radio to unite people and impart information. Well, let's speak now to veteran broadcaster Tim Modise. Tim, my brother, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Lovely to be talking to you. But as I begin, I bring greetings from my producer this afternoon, Bazugile Diko. She says you work together way back on radio.
Absolutely. And I also would like to extend my greetings to her, including yourself from then. We worked together many years ago when you were still my boss, remember?
Yeah, long before that, long before I was your boss, Tim. And coming back after 12 years in Mozambique, coming back home one evening, opening Radio Metro FM nowadays. And there was this gentleman called Tim. He had some show, something about a jungle or something. I mean, you were really a force to be reckoned with on radio.
Yes. Well, it was a wonderful period for me. And, I loved the medium and I enjoyed it for a lifetime. So up to now, I do have a lot of respect for the people I met as well as the experiences I had.
Yes. Now, radio plays a very important role in communication today, even if technology has advanced so much, even if when we live with the likes of podcasts and all radio stations, or many of them, they do both. I mean, whatever you broadcast gets podcasted as well. And in our country in particular, the 1996 IBA Act changed the landscape, introducing dozens of community radio.
I think radio, because we know, at least in the South African context, but I think around the world, but in South Africa most definitely, radio was state-owned for a long time through the over in color or ethnic terms. New stations being introduced in the late 50s, early 60s serve Africans, and I think I'll be right to say that that was the first time that Africans or Black South Africans go at that time. But over time, this medium has served the purpose of use of our languages, also the use of our own languages to articulate or express certain things, particularly promoting sport, for instance, and promote education over the years. But in recent times, things have changed substantially thanks to technology.
Yeah, and I guess in South Africa, radio continues to play an important part because a vast number of people still listen to radio. It plays an important role in terms of communicating public messages as well. And its growth in the country has sort of matched the presence of us here on television, for example.
Yes, but I think also, radio or broadcast media is fragmenting. As you mentioned earlier on, that, as much as you have television channels, but the content is being put on digital platforms. And I would suggest that people are consuming content more and more on digital platforms than anywhere else. And it's got to do with technology, as I've said, and it's got to do with the evolution of the content that we have. On media overall, broadcast media in particular. You mentioned something about radio being able to unite people. Yes, it does and it can, but it depends on the intent of the broadcasters themselves. We know what happened in Rwanda, that it was radio in particular that led to the genocide that happened there when people were mobilized against other people, one ethnic group against the other. So, as much as it's a powerful, positive tool, it can also be a dangerous tool. To come back to the point of technology, I think now we have more and more people coming online on digital platforms and community radio stations, digital radio, who have added their voice to this lovely medium, which, of course, was birthed by radio. And I think the whole point of today is to point out and celebrate the fact that we should always strive to use radio with positive intent to grow communities, to inform people, to unite people, and to help in the development of a people anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and I mean, this year's theme of World Radio Day today is Radio and Peace, and that's bang in the middle of what you've just said there, Tim. Tim, final question, the future of radio in South Africa, how do you see it with this advance in technology? Will radio begin to sort of be marginalized or not?
I think it will be, not because of itself, but because it is a regulated medium. So on the basis of that, people have found other ways of participating without necessarily having to go through the route of applying for licenses and so on. And I'm saying this because we see the proliferation of digital radio stations in South Africa. We've got plenty of them. And we also have got individuals who produce their own content and are making it available via other platforms. You've got your Twitter Spaces, for instance, and we've got the revenue sharing models emerging as a result of the approaches by the different digital platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and others. So that in itself is going to take away the oxygen, if you will, because radio depends on advertising, as we know, but the advertisers themselves are moving away from that and are spreading their advertising across the board. So when money gets reduced that is available for sponsorships and advertising on radio, we're going to see radio stations cut back, I think, on their resources, as well as cut back on the content that they provide. So that in itself is going to lead to a revolution, so to speak, of substantial change in the radio environment.
Yeah, but radio itself will remain popular, but it's going to have to transition to these digital platforms, as you say. Thank you very much, my brother. That's Tim Modise, veteran broadcaster. He also used to host a show here on eNCA a few years ago. He's a consummate professional. Thank you very much just for reflecting on the role of radio in society as we celebrate World Radio Day today.